going to be a fun episode. Welcome to That Guy Outdoors. I'm Kyle. Happy holidays to everybody. Our journey began New Year's Eve of 2022. Well, going into 2023. The day the Subaru was purchased. And only 2 weeks before that, yes, before I had a tow vehicle, the Cricket was purchased. As I decided to embrace the nomadic lifestyle and had been dreaming about this for the last 5 years, acquiring the Subaru and the Cricket was a pretty big step. The year kind of flew from there. As I closed the chapter of my life, which was being in the military, it was due to medically separating from the Army after I had a knee surgery. I've had several other, health issues over the years too, but we work on trying to take care of those with some simple things. We'll start with my mushroom coffee, my everyday dose. Yes, you guys hear me talk about it all the time. But anyways, that's for a whole nother story. We're going to get this episode moving along. I found myself at the Nashville Film Institute, learning from the best. That's right. I'm talking about you, Micah, Nick, can't forget Scott, and man, the camaraderie with the talented classmates that I had created bonds that are going to last for a lifetime. I mean, all the guys there, June, Sully, Miranda, everybody in that class, those who stayed, those who left, because not all of us finished. Some of us chose to drop the course. But regardless, it was a great learning curve, a great journey, and a great adventure in and of itself, the time at NFI and the people we got to work with. As the momentous occasion of Dean's high school graduation approached,
Dean Michael Geary.
Dean embarked on a trip down to the Keys, marking the start of a new era. As he ventured south, I was venturing north, heading to the Badlands. I set forth on my full-time nomadic journey. And it really hasn't been that long. I only started releasing episodes for approximately 4 going on 5 months now. Thank you for those that have helped grow so quickly. And hopefully we can continue the level of growth by sharing the videos. Hopefully you enjoy my content. Hopefully I can create more engaging content for you and keep improving the quality of my videos and the quality of the content. First episode was packing up, leaving the Airbnb. I went and set up at Cedars of Lebanon State Park, just outside Nashville, while I was still attending film school, and did the amazing music video. That was a blast. That was a lot of fun. And again, I'll put a link above in this video for each one of the full-length episodes if you guys want to go back and check any of them out. Please do. Please go back, check them out. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy some of you that have time off work. And let's catch up on some episodes. After that was when Britt had invited me to the Railbird Festival, which I am really looking forward to and hoping that I can make it back to this year for 2024 as well. If you want to see us back at Railbird Festival, leave a comment in the sections below. Let me know. And if you want to buy me a ticket, I'm always open for that too, by the way. Anyways, so yeah, that was episode 1. Ended up at day 1 of Railbird Festival, and I think episode 2 picked up on day 2 of the Railbird Festival. Okay, yeah, and then I left from the Railbird Festival and took off for South Dakota, headed to the Badlands. That was our first trip to the Badlands. Met up with a good friend of mine that I had also been in music business school with, Tierra, and that was just an awesome trip. I got out there a little bit earlier. That's when it rained. It was muddy. It was crazy. It was wild. Met some epic friends there. Advanture Wives. I'll put, try and put a link to them down below too. They are an awesome, awesome couple. And also met the other couple that was actually getting ready to do the Transcontinental Highway. And I forget where they're at right now. I know they're doing their venture somewhere. I saw this summer that they were already up in Alaska. I'll put a link to them down below too, so you guys can, see some of the folks that I've met on the road. Please, by all means, go check their page out. Give them a like, give them a follow if you enjoy their stuff too. And we hit just several harvest hosts along the way getting up there. So I'll make sure that we drop some of those links. If I recall, that was the winery. It was the Tarsha Farms, which is where I got honey from. Anyways, man, we got to move along here. So that's episode 2. Episode 3 was Finding Peace in the Badlands. You know, guys, that was probably, I got several, phone calls about that one. That was in the early days. Amazing trip, amazing stuff there. Hopefully in this video, the clips that I'm going to use, I can clean them up a little bit. I know that we had an overexposure issue where everything was kind of bright and washed out in those first few episodes. Again, learning curves, guys. So I did think I managed to clean some of that up. I'll see if I can do that for this. But again, that was the first trip to the Badlands. We had 2 of them this year, in case you forgot. From the Badlands, we jump into, I believe it was episode 4, and that would have been driving from South Dakota in the Badlands all the way down to Florida for Father's Day. Went down there to hang out with my dad, catch up with Dean. He had spent his trip in the Keys, and he had come from the Keys back up to Jacksonville, and I went down to spend the Father's Day weekend with my dad and Dean. So that was episode 4. Episode 5. So for those of you who don't know, Christian is my other son, aka Little Man. You'll see him referenced. You guys have met him. If you're new here, you'll be able to go back and check out some of these episodes. Episode 5 was a compilation of our summer. So I have Christian for the summers. I get to see him every other holidays. This is our visitation schedule. It's awesome. He loves the cricket. He loves traveling. Where we started by picking him up in Ohio, going from Ohio down to Kentucky, through Tennessee, where Dean was, and then heading from Tennessee all the way back down to Florida, where he could visit with my dad and Kara. And then we went from there up through Georgia and North Carolina, I believe, and ended up in Virginia, where we were at the Shenandoahs. So we kind of had a fun little trip, and then all the way, obviously, back up into Ohio, where I dropped them off. We might do something different, because that was the whole summer compiled into one video. So this year, hopefully we'll be able to do something a little different, but I was new to it. First year traveling with Christian, and me trying to practice and get used to filming all my stuff and my day-to-day activities. So hopefully 2024, I can get some better stuff for you guys with Little Man too. If you guys got questions, even if I can't answer them, you're thinking about the nomadic lifestyle, please drop a comment, shoot me a message, send me an email, thatguyoutdoors@icloud.com. My website will be up here within the next few weeks. Hopefully, beginning to mid-January, my website will be live. And again, a lot of exciting stuff coming. So then we moved from there into Manistee National Forest. As I would say that's probably one of the most memorable moments for me, because everything leading up to it, I was still doing the film school. Dean was still back in Nashville working and couch surfing with his buddies, because he hadn't shipped off to basic yet. And I had just dropped Christian off after the summer, and that really, for me, I would say that was the true first, almost soul-searching, nomadic moment that I had from this year. I sat, guys, there's some stuff that happens behind the scenes that isn't on video, but it was pouring down, storming one afternoon, and I just stepped outside the cricket, and I just stood out there in the rain, staring up at the sky in the middle of that forest. It was the most peaceful moment that I've had in years. There's just something about it. Completely alone, completely solo, but anyways, moving on. The plan originally, if you guys remember, was to head north all the way up through the Upper Peninsula, and then coming across the top part of the country, and then cutting down through Colorado to head to San Antonio for Dean's graduation, where I'm sitting now at Lackland Air Force Base. That changed when I got a phone call, and that led us into the next episode, The Unexpected Twist, heading west for a wedding. That's right, I had gotten a phone call from my brother. Yeah, this has been a wild year. As I'm talking all this stuff through, it's kind of wild and epic. But got a phone call from my brother and says, hey, Corey and Stephanie, they're like, hey, we're getting married in 3 weeks. Any chance you can make it out here for the wedding? I mean, come on, guys, I'm a nomad. I could have said no because it did get more expensive traveling out there. It did get more complicated, to do that. I bypassed a lot of the stuff that I wanted to see. But hey, this is family. This is my brother. I wanted to be there for his wedding. So we also snuck in a twist there. They had some logistical planning along the way. I called Dean, and he had to talk with his recruiter and make sure everything was still good. But he went and flew from Nashville out to Bozeman, Montana. For those of you guys that, if you haven't seen these episodes, this is what I'm explaining here. So we're jumping through a few of these here. We went from the unexpected twist heading west into Mountain Adventures and Lakeside Serenity. So that's, again, I beelined and went from Michigan. So, we hit some of the breweries along the way, the harvest hosts along the way, stopped in the Badlands again. So there's that episode, and you'll see some of the stuff from that. But this epic journey just all the way across the country until I picked Dean up in Bozeman, Montana. Again, taking him out to surprise Stephanie. Okay, there's a backstory. I guess I should explain. I'm going to explain this. So I mentioned while I was stationed at Campbell, after I came back into the military here, and I had immediately deployed to Romania. While I was in Romania, Dean was living with Corey and Stephanie. They were living in Oregon at the time. I had sent him out there while I was deployed. This was back when those wildfires just ripped through Northern California and Southern Oregon. They were living in Talent, Oregon. The town got annihilated by the fires. I got, phone calls and messages while I'm in Romania that they were having to evacuate and move because the fires were that close. Well, the fires ended up wiping out their house. They had lost everything. They landed up in Washington. But anyways, they had gone through this together. And Corey, Stephanie, Xander, which is my nephew, and Dean, they had all got to spend time together, having fun together in Oregon. But he had a whole new thing. And then they go through this traumatic experience anyways, where the house burned down. And they literally lost almost everything because they only grabbed what they could take and had to evacuate. When I came home, Dean flew back because I came home on emergency leave. Dean flew back. I came home early from that deployment and stayed back. Obviously, it was a situation where I just needed to be there for my son. But Dean never got to go back out. I mean, it was just everything happening so abruptly. They never really got to go back and see each other again. And he hadn't seen that. This epic moment of Dean and Stephanie and Xander and Corey being reunited with each other. And yes, it was for their wedding, but it was a chance for them to also come back together, and the first time they were able to get back together since the fires. It was a moment that I was beyond grateful for because they just needed that closure with each other. Anyways, I ramble on. There's more behind it. So that led to this wonderful journey of picking Dean up, going through Fairy Lake in Montana, and all these little epic spots, which kind of comes to an ironic point, but there's some irony behind that trip. That will come up this year in 2024 in the future. For those of you you know. But we'll release that after it happens. And yeah, then it led to the wedding. You guys, for those of you who saw it, I know it wasn't too epic of a, outdoorsy trip, but I'm sharing outdoor stuff with you guys, but I'm also doing, this is kind of my life. This is my journey, and I'm sharing my journey with you. And again, I'm always open to recommendations for what you guys would like to see along the way on this journey. But that led to the wedding and me being in Washington State and up in the Bellingham area, which during the trip after picking Dean up is when the furnace had gone out in the cricket. Not big deal. Taxa and Truma, which is the manufacturer of the furnace, they were amazing at getting everything replaced or fixed under warranty. Let's be fair. You have seen some of the places that I'm going, and I am full-time in this thing, bouncing it down those forest roads on these back desert, across the middle of the deserts, and these places that I'm taking my car and my rig. I can expect some stuff is going to break. These guys were awesome at getting it repaired. The manufacturers were amazing at working with it. That led me to the Mount Baker trip, where we, backpacked up to the Fire Watch Tower, still one of my favorite moments. We will be having more of that coming up in this next year in 2024. If you have recommendations on places to go, please let me know. More of the backpacking coming up, like being at the Mount Baker Fire Watchtower at Parkview. If you have any other recommendations, let me know. From there, obviously, while the cricket was being worked on, we went back and forth a little bit between my brother and Stephanie's and the Olympic Peninsula. So going out to the Olympic Peninsula and hanging out was, it was an awesome time. We did, several weeks there out of the back of the car. So running around the Olympic Peninsula, obviously all kinds of epic little spots, forest roads, the beaches. That was wonderful and amazing. All the way up to Cape Flattery, the furthest northwestern point in the continental United States. That was awesome and epic. And yeah, I know. The plan was, in 2023, to try and get down to Key West and have the furthest southwestern or southeastern point as well. Didn't happen. It will be coming sometime soon. Hopefully in 2024, we'll get a trip down there to the Keys. Cape Flattery, guys, come on. Still some of my favorite footage. Some of my favorite drone shots there. I got a lot of comments about it. A lot of people enjoyed it. Probably could have taken more photos there, and I will next time, because yes, I will go back. Going from Cape Flattery, then it was time to start leaving the state of Washington and working our way south to San Antonio for Dean's graduation. That process, that original plan was to go down the Pacific Coast Highway, all the way down Washington, through Oregon, into California, all the way down to Joshua Tree, and then turn and cut across the southern part of the country into Texas. That didn't happen. When I got the alerts and, the gas was over $7 a gallon going through California, I said no thank you. So I shifted gears. I decided, hey, why don't I just cut down through Bend, Oregon, and then cut across through the northern part of California there, straight into Nevada. And I'll swing by hit Crater Lake, which, you guys will see that here. So that whole trip, going down through Oregon, hitting Crater Lake, Alturas, California there, that beautiful red rock spot that I stayed at for almost a week. It was several days. We met the gentleman biking all the way down from British Columbia in Canada, and he's riding his mountain bike all the way down to Patagonia. Again, amazing people to meet along the way. So I'll reference a link to him in the description so you guys can check out his page, check out his journey. It's awesome. It's epic. It's an amazing, amazing trip. So then from the Alturas, California, got into Nevada. And I don't know what it was. I got sick during that time. I wasn't feeling well at all. And I just wasn't feeling the vibe. I was planning on heading to Lake Tahoe, and I was literally just outside of Lake Tahoe when I have that video of being sick. And I didn't share that footage with you guys, but the whole time I was talking about going to Lake Tahoe, I cut all of that out in the episodes. But that's when on my Instagram, it's the Moonlanding event. This event that's hosted by the Journal of Lost Time. The events that the Journal of Lost Time puts on are amazing. They are safe spaces. They are good places to be. Get great, community with great people. A lot of diversity. You can be very comfortable. You can be yourself. The Moonlanding event. And this year was the Moonlanding 2. This is the second year for it. And the solar eclipse. It was awesome, but it was all the way in New Mexico. Started the evening that social media fed it to me in my feed. It's 14 and a half hours away. So I said, what the heck? I packed up. I woke up. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I had woke up early anyways. And I'm like, what the heck? Packed up the cricket, loaded it up. I don't even think I checked in with you guys until I was already sitting at a rest stop just outside of Las Vegas. And I drove 14 and a half hours straight, all the way down. Landed on the moon at about 11:45 at night. A lot of the first evening they had karaoke, that had just ended, and I pulled up, grabbed a beer, and went out by this epic fire. That fire pit is still an amazing fire pit. Instantly met some awesome people. Woke up the next morning, immediately found a perfect spot, went and set up, and man, the rest was just enjoying the festivities at the Moonlanding. Even if you're not a full-time nomader and just, nomadic lifestyle, and you want to check out some of these events, you want to see a little bit more about the lifestyle, you want to rent a van, you want to rent a rig, you want to go out and check out these things. Check out the Journal of Lost Time, check out their events. I do believe it's well worth it. Again, I'll put links down below in the description for all of that. Anyways, moving on from the Moonlanding Festival, after I departed the moon and came back to Earth, I started working my way across New Mexico with 100% intention to stop at White Sands. It's been on my bucket list as one of the spots I wanted to hit. But I made a couple spots prior to, you guys saw. Obviously, leaving the Moonlanding, I went to a KOA first. From the KOA, I found a spot just south of New Albuquerque. Again, if you know where it's at, you know where it's at. I am not disclosing that location with people. The beautiful canyon area that I found, where I made some new friends, sitting out there in the middle of the canyon for an entire weekend. Cheers to you guys. Stay safe, please. Then I hit White Sands National Park. It was amazing. I'm going back. I want to stop there again. Sunrises, sunsets there, they're just amazing. You're sandwiched with these gorgeous white sands between these two mountain ranges on both sides of you. It's just something else. If you've never been, go. Check it out. It's worth it. And then worked my way into Texas. And I think when I left there, I went down through Van Horn. You guys saw that. Stayed at a little Harvest Host, or spot that I found on Harvest Host, the Desert Oasis. Then from there, I shot all the way into San Antonio. I found a spot on Airbnb. It was a campground, a private campground, and did that for a week. From there, went to the Airbnb. Dean's graduation from Air Force Basic Training. Yeah. Not only did it make me feel a little bit old, but very proud. It's just been a year. Everything from my separation from the Army, Dean's graduation from high school, the epic summer with Christian, to Dean, my brother getting married, to Dean graduating. I mean, 2023 has been quite this epic year of growth and new beginnings. Closing out old chapters and starting new chapters. So yeah, Dean's graduation from Air Force Basic Training. Since I was in Texas and I planned on staying here for Christmas with Dean, but I didn't want to stay just in the San Antonio area, I shot down to the beach, just outside Surfside Beach, just outside of Galveston Island area. That was amazing too. But going from there and heading up to Houston so that I could fly back to Ohio to enjoy my holiday and my Thanksgiving this year with Christian, aka Little Man. So going up to see Little Man and my mom. My mom lives up there too. So I went up there and spent my holiday up there for Thanksgiving. Introduced you guys to some of the gear that I use, some of the stuff. Obviously I talk about my everyday dose, my mushroom coffee. I've had this long before becoming an affiliate with them. I figure the only way I want to share stuff with you guys, affiliate links, and encourage you guys to buy any kind of product, it is something that I trust, something that I use, and something that I've had well before I started selling it. Same thing for Teren Designs, okay? And all of their clothing line. I've had it long before I started being an affiliate for them. After that, sharing the gear with you guys, going up to Ohio, coming back to Houston, and this kind of where it left off. That was what you guys saw last week. I am going to fast forward for you, and I'll share some clips through this journey too. But getting back and heading to the same Houston National Forest, stayed up there. I'll put some clips in there, had some cool drone footage from there. Beautiful little spot down Kelly's Pond Road. And then heading back into Houston, into town, went and checked out the taxa facility. It was awesome. I mean, it was awesome, guys. I did not film anything there. I did not take photos there. It was just an in-person visit with some of the staff, some of the team there. Got to meet some amazing people. Then from there, I went to Guadalupe River State Park. I'll share a couple little clips from there. I really didn't do much filming while I was there, guys. It was a little bit of a reset. I am not a big person. I always usually struggle a little bit in the holiday period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Just been a time throughout my life that has been difficult. Guadalupe River State Park, amazing spot. Left there to come here to Lackland Air Force Base. I was able to get a spot at the military on-base campgrounds, which just made it easier for me to catch Dean in the evening when he got a chance. He gets a little bit of freedom now that he's in tech school and he's phased up. We had dinner a couple days together, we grilled here, and we spent Christmas Day together. Picked him and his buddy up, one of his wingmen. We went and had breakfast, and then we went down to the Riverwalk so that these two young men could see the area that's just outside the base for them and where a lot of people want to go and what the hype is all about. We came over here, we FaceTimed, all the family. Dean had to FaceTime his grandparents. We FaceTimed little man, grilled our steaks, enjoyed our dinner, and here we are.
Well, hey everybody, so we are out here for the holidays. You know this guy. You've seen him in some of the videos. You've seen him in the recap. We're going to enjoy the rest of our year, and we'll see you guys next year.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.
I will tell you the first thing that's happening. We are packing up and leaving from San Antonio, Texas. And we are working our way all the way across to Yuma, Arizona. And once we get there, there is a special trip happening from there. If you already know, don't spoil it. If you want to know, you got to make sure you tune in next week to find out where we're headed. Cheers, guys. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Enjoy your families. Enjoy your friends. Be kind. Do good. Leave no trace. Thanks for watching That Guy Outdoors. We'll catch you next year.